Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Today is a sunny day and it's graduation for our school here in Healy. I wish all the graduating seniors the best of luck because you're going to have to get out there and get a job now. Woohoo! Even if you go to college, you're still going to need a job because college ain't cheap. So, today we're going to be looking at Revelation chapter 3, verse 20. And it's a very simple verse and is often taken out of context. So this is what it says. Listen, I am standing and knocking at your door. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and we will eat together. Simple enough, right? Well, it seems as though we like to take that and apply it to something that it can mean, but it wasn't originally meant to mean that because we are that way. But when it comes to biblical interpretation, the important thing is context, 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 context. So in context, this verse is written to a church. Jesus is telling a church, I'm standing there knocking at your door. Let me in. A church? Really? Let me in? And this church's name is Laodicea. Laodicea was a very interesting church. They were located in a very rich community, a very rich city. And the city was situated in the intersection of two major trade routes. So with everybody coming from Asia and from the European areas, they were doing lots of commerce in this town because this is where people met up. This is where people would set up shop and they would deal with each other. And so everybody had some money. It almost sounds like another country I know. So as a rich community, they had things that they needed. One of the things that they had were hot springs. I grew up in Malvern, Arkansas, which I attended Ian Bell's church. He is the guy who called for a general council of like-minded Pentecostal churches in Hot Springs, Arkansas in 1914. And I know about hot springs, and they are a big draw for people, especially people with muscle ailments and stuff, because the heat helps. So they had hot springs and they had money. And so these people were so rich when the town suffered a major earthquake. The Roman government offered them money to rebuild, and they're like, nah, we got it covered, no problem. Would you like some money yourself? So they had plenty of money. They were well off. They did not lack for anything, and that was their problem, is they did not lack for anything. They had everything they needed at the beck and call. If they wanted a doctor, they had doctors. If they wanted a hot springs bath, they had the hot springs. If they wanted food, they had food. Expensive clothing. This really sounds like a country I know of. Does anybody else think of a country like this? So this was their problem, is that they got comfortable in their riches here on this earth. They got comfortable here. And they enjoyed the lifestyle of the rich and famous, so to speak. So as they said they were lacking nothing, Jesus tells them otherwise. John's writing down what Jesus is saying to them, and he says, you may have everything physically, but you are lacking everything spiritual. You are blind, you are naked, you need sustenance. You need to come to meet Jesus time, as we used to say. I come to meeting with Jesus, and he calls them to repent, and he's telling them, I am standing at your door knocking. The English knock doesn't quite sum up what he's actually doing. He's knocking on the door with his knuckles, and the best way to describe it is what someone in my church keeps telling me. There are two things I have retained from my law enforcement years. And the two things that they notice the most are, one, the way I click pins, and the other is the way I knock. And this person, we're not going to name them Tara Talarico, but they notice that I have a certain way of doing it. And when the police knocks with his knuckles on the door, it's very authoritative and it's very forceful, saying, open this door. I need to talk to you. And that's what Jesus is saying here. I am knocking on your door in a forceful manner. I am rapping upon your door. Open it up and let's talk. Let's deal with each other. He is asking for them to repent, to change their ways, because they have gotten complacent in their riches. They have gotten complacent in their ideologies. They had gotten complacent while other people around them suffered. We can't do that. We cannot become complacent in our wealth. We cannot become complacent in our well-being. We have to remember, if it wasn't for the grace of God, we would be in a horrible, horrible situation spiritually. And it is only through the grace of the living God that we are redeemed. And I am thankful that I am one of the redeemed, and I do my best to let everybody else know. I can't become complacent in the riches of this country. I cannot become complacent in the safety of this country. Have we been having some persecution in our churches? To a degree, yes, we have. Have they been hauling us off and killing us on the side of the street? Not yet. I don't want to downplay what's going on, but I don't want to make it worse than what it is. We cannot become complacent. We must always, always, always open that door to Jesus. And we must always listen to what he has to say. And with that one, I want to say, have a good one.